Hello, hello, hello. Oh, it's so nice entering in and seeing all of the messages already. Hello, Elena. Hello, Achu. Hi, Lucy. Oh, hi, Cassia. I'm also looking forward um to this day. Hi, Scarlett. Hmm. I just got out of the shower. My hair is my hair is a little wild, but I thought, hey, we're gonna talk about animals and rewilding today, so I'm gonna let it go. Um, yeah, so yeah, connecting with our animal allies and guides today. The our little opening question. I would love to hear about your pets. Love to hear what animals do you have, what pets do you have at the moment, or any pets you might have had from your childhood, anything that is yeah, a significant connection that you have to an animal in your life. I'd love to hear what that is for you. Hmm. Oh, thank you, Lucy. Joanna, a dog and a turtle. Ooh, lovely. Robin, your cat is here. Her name is Cow. She's black and white. Oh, I love that. Chu, you yourself as a pet. Okay, lovely. I don't have any pets at the moment, but I've had many pets growing up. We used to have rabbits when I was younger. Um, I named one of them Dominique after Dominique Dawes, after the 96 Summer Olympics when the women's gymnastics team got the gold medal because I was a competitive gymnast myself. So I had a rabbit named Dominique, and then we got a dog when I was in high school. We had a dachshund, so one of the little wiener dogs, and I named him Gilligan after Gilligan's Island because there was a time I was really obsessed with the TV show Gilligan's Island, and our dog was really like really silly, quite like Gilligan on the show. Um, and then my parents adopted my sister's dog named Bear, but every time I'm home now, every time I go and visit my parents back in the States, Bear acts like my dog, so he's always like right beside me, following me around everywhere. So yeah, missing that energy being here. It's so nice in the winter to cuddle up. Bear's he's like a big fluffy back black dog. So cuddling up to him would be really nice right now. Hi Bree. Finishing a walk with my dog right now named Lady, and I have a cat named a pony. A pony or pony. Probably not saying that right. Lovely. Lucy, you've got your two dogs, and I see a dog in your photo. Growing up, you had cats, guinea pigs, rabbits, mice, hamsters, fish, stick insects, and two tortoises, and three chickens. Wow, fabulous. Um, just home for Christmas, and here are two of our dogs, Bella, a retriever, and what does that say? Teach, a chihuahua. So nice to hug them, yeah. For those of you just arriving, we're just talking about animals and pets that we have had in our lives or that we have now. Just as we're going to be connecting in with our animal guides and allies today. So if you'd like to share that, you can go ahead and share in the chat. Yeah. So the title for this live, The Wild Hunt. I don't know if any of you might be familiar with The Wild Hunt, but um yeah, The Wild Hunt is this mythological, folk story that is seen differently throughout many different cultures, particularly in Central, Western, and Northern Europe. So coming out of some Celtic, some Norse, some Germanic, Anglo-Saxon, all of these traditions. And how it's told now, one of the main factors, that the main thread that is woven through almost all of the stories, is this idea that there is a wild hunt which has a leader in the front, and then has like these ghostly figures that follow along behind as the huntspeople. And sometimes they are spirits and souls that have struggled to pass over to the other world. Sometimes they are elves, sometimes they are fairies. It kind of just depends on where you are and which story you're hearing. And they're accompanied like on these cold winter nights that have like these howling winds. So it's like this noise of the howling wind is what's symbolizing this wild hunt is coming through. So, yeah, it's said that, the wild hunts will begin on the nights of Samhain, which was, the beginning of November, and they reach their peak in midwinter, which is here. Here we are in the midwinter season around the solstice. And so, I don't know if where you live, I know where I grew up in Pennsylvania, there in the winter, there are these like wind gusts and these strong winds that, cause all of these snow drifts and make these like whistling, noises throughout the sky. And so, the people back in the day would have created, this myth of the wild hunt to go along with these cold winter nights that have these like blistering winds coming through. And one of the reasons why they created some of this myth was to keep the children inside. So there's a lot of like kind of scary stories, scary ghostly stories that go along with the wild hunt to scare children into staying inside at night in the winter. And so, like protecting their children from possible hypothermia or like things that, might be in danger of in the night at winter when it's cold outside. And so the idea of like, if I go outside, I'm going to be snatched up by the wild hunt. That would keep me inside if I was a child. So it's probably something that worked quite well for centuries for keeping the children safe inside and warm in the winter season. Oh, hello, Africa. Yeah. So, what else? What else to be shared about the wild hunt? It is interesting that so if you're familiar with the Brothers Grimm, so where a lot of like the Grimm fairy tale stories, a lot of Disney fairy tale stories based off of, the Grimm brothers stories, and a lot changed if you've read any of the originals, but they were one of the first to write down about the wild hunt in this mythology. And they actually believed that before Christianity became predominant in the area, that these tales would have been talking about these otherworldly beings flying through the air around the solstice night, bringing good tidings and fortune to people of the earth, bringing gifts. There's a figure in Germany called Frau Halle, who is known for bringing gifts during the solstice time and leaving gifts at everybody's door. And so, um, Yeah, and then they think once Christianity came in over, you know, became predominant in the area, that they turned these stories into the more scary, the scary shadow side stories to, um, yeah, to take away that hold of the pagan myths and stories that they had for the people, to try and, you know, convert them into Christianity. But we do see, like, in the winter time, there still is quite a lot of, there's still like these connections to the other world, to, you know, the supernatural world, the other than human world. And you know, you think about A Christmas Carol, you know, written by Charles Dickens, and you think about the ghosts of Christmas, past and present and future. So it has like this, you know, this connection to this ghostly aspect. There was something else I was looking at. Now I can't remember it. Hmm. Yeah. Anyways. Um. So these myths of the wild hunt might actually be some of what the myth of Santa Claus is based on now. That idea of, you know, somebody riding through the night with the reindeer and passing along, you know, gifts and good tidings to all people of Earth. Um, so yeah, could have some origins there. Um, else did I want to say about that? Hmm. Yeah. So let's dive into like the animal connection, right? So the animals then that are connected to this time of year, and with these myths of the wild hunt coming on the winter nights, definitely horses, right? So we have the horses in the wild hunt. They are all riding on horses. And then I don't know if you've ever heard of the Welsh myth and the tradition of the, hopefully I'm saying this right, but the Mari Lloyd, which is where the Welsh people take a horse skull and they glue Christmas ornaments, like the ball ornaments, into the eye sockets of the horse, and then they cover, one person holds the horse skull with these ornaments as eyes and then covers themselves in a white sheet. And then they travel around to people's houses, and they they like knock on doors of people's houses to be invited in, and sing songs and expect to be fed. And it's a tradition here at Yule in the winter solstice. So I thought that was oh, you have that tradition in Poland too. Oh, interesting. Tell us more. Mm. Yeah, so horses being significant at this time of the year, as well as hounds and dogs, because they are also along with the hunt, and with boar and pigs, right? Because that's what they would have been hunting at that time when these myths were created. So we have these horses, hounds, boars, and pigs. And a lot of people actually will have feasts of, you know, roast pig, during this time in the winter. And then we have cats are actually an animal that are present during this time, and in connection with the goddess Freya, if you're familiar with Freya. We have wolves, and I'm reading a book right now called Wintering by Catherine May, and I just read the chapter where she talked about wolves and talked about um, yeah, talked about how they're present in a lot of winter tales, and thinking about like the Chronicles of Narnia, you know, when they pass through the wardrobe into the land of winter on the other side of the wardrobe, and how the wolves were like the servants of the or the workers of the oh, what was her name? Like the White Queen or the Winter Queen, or I don't remember what her name is. Yes, Freya is Nordic. Yeah, and has these like these cats. I don't know much. I don't do a lot of connection with deities, but yeah, so we've got wolves, we've got reindeer, obviously, reindeer being very connected to the far north and the cold, and connected to that the deer mother story and Santa. And we have connecting in with Christianity, even the cattle and the donkey that are present in the nativity scene. It's significant that those are mentioned, bringing in the animal aspect to the Christmas story. You've got the Yule goat, which is very prominent in Sweden in particular, and connected to Thor, who has like these two goats that fly through the air. There's all this flying through the air during the winter season with your animals. It might be that connection to that, that heavy wind, that whistling wind that you get in the winter. Yeah, so are there any other animals that you know of that are connected to the winter season, or this time around Christmas, Yule, solstice? Go ahead and share that. Now, also, I read an article talking about, like the 12 days of Christmas, talking about all of the birds that are in there, the turtle doves and the partridge, and yeah, other birds that are present in winter, like wrens and robins as well. So I'd love to hear if you have any other connections to animals. Cassia, there will be people dressed as angel, devil, death, horse. Oh, interesting. They go from house to house, similar to trick-or-treating, but asking for food and vodka. Yeah, that's such an interesting combination. Angel, devil, death, horse. Like, how did the horse get in there? Oh, so interesting. Yeah, and let me know any of your traditions, if there are animals present in the stories you grew up with, or traditions in your culture that you are aware of. I don't think there's any story that I really grew up with. Feel very connected to birds, especially robin, which are associated with this time of year here. Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. Um, so as we share a bit of Christmas dinner with all the animals in the house. Yeah, I was going to share that as one of the rituals. I'll share at the end. Is that. And yes, so. Thinking about our connection then to these our animal guides and animal allies, we're connecting into this the spiritual worldview called animism. So I don't know if you're familiar with animism. It is it's a spiritual, practice and worldview that is found in a lot of indigenous cultures, and in eco-centered spirituality, nature-centered spirituality. So I myself, as a practicing pagan, I very much believe in animism, and so I'll just share a little bit about what that is for those of you that might not be familiar. But it's basically the idea that it is a belief around nature and everything found in nature. So all the plants and the animals and the earth has a spirit, and that we are in a relationship with them, and we treat them with respect and honor, just like we would a loved one, because we see them as our relatives, right? They are our kin. And a lot of times you'll hear people say, like, the more than human world, the kin of our more than human world. And that is in connection to how we are connected to these spirits of plants and animals. But we're going to be focusing just on the animal aspect. We're going to get to the plant and land aspect later. I don't remember which day it is in our series here that where you talk about the spirit of the land, but we'll get there. And so I thought a very important thing to mention before we get further in and before we go into our meditation to connect with our animal guide within is to talk about cultural appropriation, because this is an area that is appropriated a lot. And this idea of spirit animals, that actually is a cultural appropriation, and taking this really deeply rooted, spiritual consciousness, this animism that is a path that has been passed down through many indigenous cultures for since time immemorable, that now people have taken on, and some people make it as a joke. I don't know if you've heard things like coffee is my spirit animal, or I don't know what other, making all of these like pop culture jokes around things being people's spirit animals. And that's yeah, it's really sad to see. And just being aware of the ways in which our language might be harmful to people, and not wanting to take practices from cultures that we're not deeply embedded into. So yeah, so that's why I choose to use the terms, like I said, animal guide and animal allies, and connecting in with my own ancestral cultures of Celtic and Germanic lineages, and learning how they would have been in connection with this idea of animal guides and being one with the land, instead of taking on, especially from Native American traditions, and the indigenous people from Turtle Island that I was born and grew up on. So that is just something I wanted to mention before we go further in, so that we are aware of the ways in which we might use some of our language that is harmful to others. So, and encourage us all to connect deeper to our own ancestry, and how our ancestors might have been in connection to these relationships with the more than human world, with the plants and the earth and the animals around. So, yes. Dun, dun, dun. Just reading through my notes, seeing what is most present here, and we will go into our meditation to meet our inner animal guide today. Yeah, let's do that now. Yeah, any thoughts, reflections, comments before we dive into our meditation? Are we ready to connect with our animal self within, where we're feeling connection to our animal? So if you have a comfortable space where you can drop on in, we're just going to be still for a few moments as we go within and connect with our animal guide within. And if you'd like to close your eyes, you can go ahead and close your eyes. And allowing your breath to draw your awareness to your inner landscape. Allowing yourself to become present to the here and now. letting anything that came before you arrived here to fall away. Anything that you may be thinking about doing after this session, let that also fall away. Just staying with the rhythm of your breath in this present moment. And we're first going to connect to the land. And you're invited here to either connect with the land that is below your feet, below your body, the land you are standing on at present, or connecting into land that you have known or that your ancestors have known. And just imagining that you are standing or sitting upon that land. And with each breath, we're going to connect in with the breath of the land. So with each inhale, feeling the earth's energy, the land's energy traveling up into your body like it is exhaling into you. And then with your exhale, sending your energy down into the land as it inhales. So connecting this cycle of breath between you and the land. And hopefully with each breath feeling more connection, feeling more like you are at one with the land, at home in this place. And then you see off into the distance. You see an animal that is emerging. It's coming into form. This animal that has exactly what you need in this moment. So don't try and change what shows up. Just allow whatever to arise, whatever first comes through for you. And as the animal continues to get closer to you, it is getting clearer. You can see the form, see the shape. You watch how it moves towards you. Taking in the colors, taking in the texture. Is this animal making any sound? How are they moving? And allow them to come as close to you as you feel comfortable allowing. And allow yourself to make eye contact. Gazing into each other's eyes, almost like you can gaze into each other's souls. And you are invited now to go into a journey of transformation, a shape-shifting journey where you are becoming the animal. So allow yourself to journey within this animal and shape-shift into the animal. How does this feel to be in the body of the animal? Noticing your connection with the land, with the environment around you, now that you are the animal. Feeling into the movement. How is your animal self moving? How does that feel within the body? And connecting in with any of the other senses. Your sense of smell, is that different now? What are you noticing? Sense of sound, hearing. What can you hear now in this animal body? And allowing your animal self to arrive at a place within this land that you are in. A place that has a message and guidance for you. So being very observant as you look around the environment. Noticing if there's something standing out, something significant, something that seems like a gift here for you. And allow your animal guide, this animal body to lead you to that place. Maybe it is a different part of the landscape. Maybe it is a plant, a tree. Maybe it is some object that is in this environment. Maybe it's a person. Just allow your animal body to guide you to the message that you need to hear in this moment. And take in that message. Take in that piece of significant information. And maybe it doesn't make sense right now to you. Just taking that in, trusting that it will reveal itself in the right time. And then taking one last few moments in this animal body. So if there's something you've always wanted to do by being this animal, allow yourself that freedom just to be wild, just to experience what it means to be an animal. And then coming back into stillness, back into connection with that land underneath you, the breathing, the cycle of breath, inhaling and exhaling with the land. And then slowly shape-shifting back into your human self. But this animal guide, this animal self is now within you. It is a part of you that will be with you to share the message, help reveal the message that has been given to you. It will help you to remember your connection to nature, your connection to land, your connection to all of the more than human world, and that connection to your wild self within. And you can come back and connect and meet with this animal guide anytime, because they are dwelling within you now. And when you are ready to come back into your present conscious awareness, you can begin to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. You can breathe your eyes open, do any other movements, just allowing yourself to gently arrive back into our present space here. Together. Thanks for all of the hearts. And I would love to hear reflections. What animal came to you? How did it feel to be the animal? What message? What were you given in the meditation from your animal guide? Anything you'd like to share? I will share as well. Sometimes when I'm leading meditations, I don't get much through that comes for me, because I'm thinking about what's coming up in the meditation and how to hold that space for you all, but today, a tiger came through really strongly, which is very interesting because I don't know if I've ever done, yeah, I don't know if I've ever done animal work where a tiger came through. So that's something interesting that I will be exploring. And the message that came through was a red thread that was tied on a tree. I do not know what that means yet, but I guess I'll also be sitting with that. A tiger and a red thread in a tree. So, we'll see. We'll see what comes about that. A bobcat. Ooh, okay, Peggy. Cape Breton, ocean fields, and cranberries. Oh, lovely. Scarlet, you saw a mountain goat and felt very grounded as the goat, even though it was above the timberline and very windy. Oh, okay, I like that. A fox came for me, so that's usually what comes for me. Um, there's a person here on Insight Timer that does meditations to connect with your business, and my business almost always shows up as a fox. So my business energy is a fox, but today my energy came through as a tiger, so that's interesting. It was so incredible to be in the fox's body and run really fast. Yeah, I can imagine that. Hmm. There were red berries on the ground and a cave as well. Okay, beautiful. Oh, the gray wolf. Lovely. I am safe and I am strong. Also felt amazing to run and jump. Peggy, the theme of red. Yeah. Interesting. Scarlet had red berries. Peggy, you had cranberries. I had a red thread. Anybody else see red um in your image? Interesting. Yeah. What does that mean? I don't know. Um, yeah, so what I wanted to share now, if we've like connected with that animal guide, that animal ally, um, like it's pretty easy to like search on Google, what does this animal mean? But I feel like that's I don't want to say the word cheating, but that's kind of what I'm feeling, but not as meaningful. Okay, that's what I'm going to use. So I feel like um, that's not really going to be significant and meaningful for you personally by reading, reading some meaning and symbol that somebody else wrote, that is coming from some tradition that might not be yours or somebody else's experience and understanding. So, as we're like, when we're in the meditation, we're getting something personally for us. And so then uncovering those symbols and meanings that might be connected to your animal ally, doing that in a way that feels like your own personal connection to those symbols and what that might mean for you. And so things you could think about is, if the animal you connected with is in your actual environment where you live, what would it look like to go to that place? Go to that place where they live, connect in with that actual environment where they live, and if possible, observing them, if that's available for you. Just spending time with that actual animal if you can. And if not, like learning about where that animal lives, the environment they live in, maybe like watching videos of their environment or people that study those animals, and learning about their actual habits and things, and then seeing what sort of symbols and meanings feel significant for you, by learning about the actual animal. Um, yeah, and looking for synchronicities can be very very helpful when connecting to animal allies. So if you go from our time together from here and you know, and you like go outside and you see that animal, it's like, oh yeah, okay, this really means something for me, right? Or if you watch a movie and that animal comes through, or you read a book and that animal comes through, or you're talking to a friend and they mention this animal, take a note of that, because that's something that is significant and some sort of meaning in there for you. Um, yeah, and then you can also look for the stories, maybe folk stories or mythological stories that have these animals in them. Specifically, ones from either your own lineage or the ones that were born out of the land where you are. You know, in Celtic mythology, a lot of these animals and places are very specific to the actual land. So, you know, there will be stories that are tied deeply to this one hill, or this one well, or things that are rooted very deeply in the actual land where you are. So seeing if there is any of that, and being with the land where you are. I'll go into more of this on our spirit of the land night. So I won't go into much of that, but being with the animals that are of the land you're with, especially if that's one of the animals that came through for you. And then also we can look at the last one I'll just share is the animal energies that are in our collective, right? So thinking about our collective psyches, and things that we might be conscious of and things that might be in the shadow collective, right? The shadow psyche of our collective. So Kay, I think you mentioned the gray wolf, and I think wolves are very much in our collective shadow psyche, where we are told to fear them, right? These animals that we're often told to fear, and a lot of times, you know, it's just because we don't understand them, or it brings something from within us that we might be scared of, like a mirror, right? We can use our animals as a mirror, and anything in this animal, does it scare you? Does it make you feel frightened? And how might that be showing you something from your shadow self, from your unconscious, that might want to be revealed and integrated into your life? So that's another thing you can, that's a ritual you could do for today, as we go into the rituals you can do to connect with these animal energies. One of them is using that animal that showed up as your guide as a mirror. And how do you feel? How do you feel about that animal? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel safe? Do you feel afraid? And then exploring what that might mean. Mm. All right, I'm gonna catch up on the chat. This summer, while hiking, my brother and I passed some hunters with a mountain goat. I felt that animal's energy very strongly in the meditation. Beautiful. Yeah. So, like, noticing that if you're out and about, that's going to be the second ritual I will share. One of the rituals you could do today is just go outside and notice and be aware of the animals that are around, and seeing if something comes through for you, seeing if something resonates, and observing, like observe the animal. How are they moving? What do they look like? Listen to them, hear their sounds that they are making. Yeah, and see what messages might be there for you. And so if you're noticing something that's, you know, deeply resonant within you, hold on to that and see what might be under the layers. Mm. Oh, Elena and A, you probably already left, but I'm glad you were here. And Peggy, thank you so much for that donation. Hmm. Cassia in Dublin, there are many foxes around. Often in the evening while sitting under the tree, I see them pass by. Yeah, so that would be beautiful. Go and sit with them, watching them under the tree, and just see what might be, see what you might observe now that you've interacted with your inner fox. See how that might feel different, um, as you see them in the wild. Hmm. Toucan and a black jaguar. Ooh, okay. Have suggested in my dreams and meditation. Very interesting. Is there a connection between the toucan and the black jaguar? Hmm. Hello, Pedro. Wolf, fox, mountain goat. Damn, I have a pug. Then again, a pug is an amazing adventure. Oh, oh, yeah. There's no shame. There's no shame in whatever animal showed up for you. No shame at all because each animal has lessons, you know, that we can learn from, has some sort of symbol or meaning that we can connect to. Um, yeah, see, like a pug, that feels like it feels like home. It feels like homey and safe. To me. I don't know much about pugs, but the idea of yeah, the idea of like having a domestic house animal that feels um cozy and safe. Um yeah, let's see. Okay, I'll just share a couple other rituals before our time comes to an end. Um so connecting with this the idea of the wild hunt that I shared in the beginning, a ritual that you could do is leaving food outside. So this has, you know, it can appease the wild hunters so that they don't come after you. They can just take the food and go on their way. And also, it could provide food for hungry animals that might be, you know, especially if you live in a cold place that is currently, you know, most of the plant life is dead at the moment. And, you know, if the land's, especially if the land's covered in snow, then leaving food outside, maybe scattering some bird seed or putting other food outside for the animals to eat. You can do that as a ritual today. You can also, a lot of people make animal ornaments. If you have a tree and you want to make an animal ornament, I was looking at, I love like the straw goats that they make in Sweden. I think those are really, really cute. Those straw goats, the Yule goat. But any other sort of like ornament you could make. Um, you could treat your pet today, so maybe do something special if you have a pet. Maybe give them a special treat, or you know, give them some care, like a massage, or you know, a nice bath, or you know, whatever you would like to do to treat your own animal that you have in your house. You can do that. And again, I shared, you know, going outside, spending outside, observing the animals and things that are around. And I was also thinking about these things connecting in with this sense of rewilding, right? And something that I would love to do that's not available for me here, but is to go to have an ice bath in a natural body of water. I watch Yona Yinton on YouTube, if any of you are familiar, and she lives in northern Sweden, and she is often like in the winter like carving out these holes, and they have a lake by their house, and carving out these holes in the ice to like go to like have an ice bath in like the freezing water. If you live near an ocean and you want to go swimming, like even if it's cold, that is like something you could do that would be like rewilding adventure, but also it's great for the vagus nerve and activates your parasympathetic nervous system if you want to do some wild swimming in the winter in the cold water. That is something you could do. Oh, scarlet, yes. They're so beautiful. Um, and yeah. Hmm. Anything else? I'm trying to think of other things you could do to rewild. Um, the sense of like getting rid of, like when you were in the body of that animal, especially if it was a wild animal, like what are the things you can do in that body that you feel ashamed of, embarrassed of, like too shy to do, like in your human form? So what would that look like to maybe have a little bit more fun? I know some of you shared about like running and having fun. Yeah, what would it look like for you to do that today? To run wild and have fun and not really worry about what other people are thinking or saying about you. What does that look like? Tap into that wild animal self within you. Yeah. Okay. That's that's what I have for you today. Connection with our animal guides and allies. It's been lovely being with you all today. Thank you for sharing all of your insights that came through. Um, I love meditating with animal guides because usually a very strong images come through. And so I'm going to be sitting with mine, and I might journal about it here after, to see what some of that might mean. And like I said, it might not be clear what this might mean and the symbols that came through for you, but trusting that it will reveal itself in time. Hmm. Yeah. Any other any other reflections, questions, anything before we leave? Thank you to those of you that have donated. That's really appreciated. Um, it's been a joy showing up here every day over the last few days. And tomorrow we'll be back with the inner child. So we'll be talking about the inner child and the connection to the child spirit to this time of the year. Yes, happy holidays to all of you. Tomorrow being Christmas Eve. So yeah, we might share some childhood memories tomorrow about the holidays and things. So it'll be a lovely time together. Hmm. Yeah, you're welcome, Lucy. Yeah, thank you for those of you that have been showing up every day for our Yule series. It's been lovely seeing you and journeying along together with you. So I will hopefully, yeah, see you again tomorrow for those of you that are able to come. Hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and don't forget to connect into those animal presences, animal guides and allies that come through for you today. Oh, thank you, Todd. That means a lot. Thank you, Maisha. All right, lovelies. I will see you again soon. Thank you, Kay.